Which states have the shortest tax lien redemption period? What a great question. Okay, this is a factor you need to think about when going into a market. I'm going to cover all of that in this right now. And this is a great thing. When you see this, I'm going to show you how you can go from a very small investment to a big money deal literally within the next 6 months. I'm going to save that to the very end because I'm going to have to show you the system in place to make that happen. So let's get right down to it. Okay, bottom line is this. Okay, you need to be able to hit the button down below that says subscribe. Okay, hit that. More importantly, hopefully you have a keyboard in front of you, and if you have any questions, jot it down. I don't care how newbie it is or how sophisticated it is. I've been doing this a while. I'm sure I will have an answer for that. I love those questions, so keep those rolling. So let's talk about this. What is the best and shortest redemption period out there? There's short redemption periods out there that are 6 months, 18 months, 1 year, all of that stuff. But I don't want you to miss the vision through the fog, so to speak. Don't get too hung up on redemption periods, okay? When you have a short redemption period, though, this means you're getting closer to a foreclosure process. So let me explain what a redemption period is. When I buy a tax lien certificate at a sale or over the counter or what have you, the county is going to say, the state mandates the interest rate, like we've talked about before in other videos, and the redemption period. What that means is the grace period, forgiveness period, how long the property owner has before something's going to happen. So look, we needed the money. We sold the lien on your property. Not to worry, because you still owed the 18% anyways. Now the clock is ticking. This is crucial. So as soon as that sale is done, that clock starts going tick-tock, right? So let's just keep it simple and say it's a 1 year redemption period. At the end of that redemption period, I can start the foreclosure. So more than likely, when you see shorter redemption periods, this lien has been delinquent for a long time, okay? 1 year, they've probably been delinquent for at least 3. Remember my timelines in other videos. Tax liens and deeds are the same thing. They're just two different sides of the same coin. Every tax deed was a tax lien, and every tax lien will eventually turn into a tax deed if gone unpaid, okay? So that's the way you need to look at this, okay? So when I'm looking at short redemption periods and it says 1 year, it's probably been delinquent 3. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 years. That's when you can take back the property on that. And I'm hoping that makes sense on it. So don't get caught up. And I've got every state inside here, what the redemption period is on that. All deed states have a 0 redemption period, but you got Nevada with 120 days, which makes sense because Nevada is what I like to refer as a dual state. You've got liens and deeds. So they're selling that lien at the very last moment of that process, which gives that person that last hurrah, if you will. Okay, you've got Kentucky at 1 year, Ohio at 1 year, Georgia at 1 year, Tennessee at 1 year. Anytime you get into these kind of numbers, you're probably looking at some type, there's a rule of thumb, some type of a deed hybrid type of lien situation on that. So don't worry about that. So how can you use the redemption periods to your favor? What that will allow you to do, knowing the redemption periods, is setting up your calendar, okay? Find out when their sale is, find out how to get in front of it. So I want to get that list 4 weeks beforehand so I can make this happen. That way I know, okay, I'm going to buy a bunch of liens during this year, and they're not going to cost me a lot because they're not foreclosing on the property. So basically what I'm doing is shots on goal. I'm buying all these liens on that. One of them, more than likely, you're going to end up with. And that's where the prize is, right? Yeah, 18%, 15%, 16%, that's great. But what about $3,000 and you end up with the property free and clear of all liens and encumbrances, okay? And better yet, what if you realize that and make it inside your retirement account? We'll talk about that later. Okay, so now that we've got redemptions, we got to think about strategy with this. How can we use redemptions as strategy? So it's a very simple process. If I know the redemption periods on these, I can start strategically picking out markets that I want to go to. Now remember, the list is going to come out exactly 1 month before the sale. So I literally can stagger my full year's calendar exactly, all, and precisely. Here's when the list is coming out. This is when the sale is coming out. You will always have something to do if you do it correctly. You're not going to be sitting around going, I hope I have another lien or a sale coming up. You're not going to do it. Just go through the states, figure out their redemption period, and figure out the sale. Number one. Number two, remember, you're dealing with different states out there. So guess what you're going to do? Okay? You're going to need to know the rules for every single one of those states. So I want to know what the registration process is. Do I have to register my LLC or can I go solo on this? You're going to need to know, can I use my retirement there? What kind of information do I need from my retirement to register that? If I'm bidding for my retirement or my LLC, do I have to be a proxy bidder? Get all of that set up front. Have your account. Some counties even have accounts where you can deposit money in and that becomes your base amount. So figure out how the county works. Number one, you've already done your calendar. Okay, now we got to look at the liens. When does the sale come up? So if the sale is happening in June 30th, we'll make up that number. When's the list coming out? The list is going to come out about 30 days beforehand. You want to make sure you mark that on your calendar. So you go into the county's website, either download that, pay the subscription, find out where it's at, third party or what have you. That way you're on top of it immediately. Now, unlike tax deed certificates, you want to start your research as soon as possible on this. Likelihood of them redeeming before the tax lien sale are kind of slim. They're not losing their property. All there is a lien on the property that they're aware of, okay? Who knows why they're not paying that? I'm not going to get into that in this video. It's not important. But what I want to do is find that list. Then I'm going to start breaking those counties up, each and every single one of them, in the sections that I want. Remember, find your median price of properties. Let's, again, for the argument, say it's $250,000. I'm going to stick with properties in that probably 150 up, okay? Another way to break down those lists is only deal with single family residential properties. Now, if you know commercial property, God bless you, go for it. I love it. Okay, that's fantastic. But for those of you just getting started, we all know what a single family residential property is. So stick with something you already know. Don't make this more difficult than it already is. Okay, there's a lot of things that are thrown out. And listen, don't get uncomfortable with some of the stuff that happens in the terminology and stuff like that. I want you to think about the job that maybe you currently have right now and how long it took you to get up to speed with that. There was jargon, there was information. Okay, you're excited about this. Don't worry about it. We've got you covered. We've got all of that figured out for you. So now that you've got the list, now that you know the area that you want to invest in, now you got to start picking out the liens. Now just highlighting them and going down that list is never enough. You're going to have to figure out, okay, I want this lien on this property. Now I need to get a photo of the property. Now I'm going to go old school on it. We used to have to send out Polaroid cameras to realtors and hoping they would do it. They're so easy nowadays. Do not trust Google, okay? Do not trust satellite images, okay? Let's say that I'm looking at 30 liens. That could take about a day to drive all those properties. If you don't have the ability to go out and look at all 30 of those properties, super simple to hire maybe a college student or somebody else. Say, hey, I'll give you $175. Here's the list. Here's the map. This is the properties I want. And I want a picture of these properties. And I want to make sure that I can see the address of this property so I know it's the correct one. They're on their phone. They put it in a file. By the end of the day, I have them. 30 properties should take you approximately, if you started smartly, which means avoiding traffic, you could, if you did like at 9:30 in the morning, you'd be done by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It really is that simple. Once you get it organized. So one of the ways you're going to organize all of this is before you go out to look at the properties or hand it to somebody else, make it simple. Put all of those address in some type of a mapping program and say, this is where I'm going to start. What's the most effective and efficient way to look at all those properties, okay? That way, and then you got to add something in it. It's just going to get you the properties. It's not going to have stop time. Anytime I do these maps, I add at least 7 minutes per property because I know I'm going to be stopping at these properties. If you add all of that in there, you should be sufficient. Like I said, I've knocked out 30 easily by 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, you've got to be efficient. Being out on the road and looking at properties can also be very disorganized, if you will. Make sure all of your paperwork is organized, is put in the right file folders. As you see a property, if you have any comments on that property, you need to make them right inside that document right there. I use a program called Notability. That helps me keep track of all of my notes, obviously. Inside, that's a program that my kid from school put together. He didn't put together, he brought it home one day. I was like, this thing's cool. So everything I do, notability, I take a picture of the property, everything's there, and I can actually email that or text that to a partner or anybody else instantaneously. Again, there's a lot of things moving on here, and all we're talking about is redemption period. You guys, I've got extensive training for free for you. I want to make sure you and your family are set up with this and know how to do this correctly. And when you just hit the higginsmethod.com down below, register for the free training. It's brand new. I got it specifically for what you're trying to do here. And I'll send you a book called America's Secret Investment Strategy. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and be careful.